Oh, okay. Now I can hear you. Hare Krishna. Devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Radha and Mati, when you're ready, you can start, Mati.
Sure. Hare Krishna to all dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 25, The Glories of the Devotional Service, from the text 15. The stage in which the consciousness the stage in which the consciousness of the living entity is attached by the three modes of material nature is called the conditional life. But when the same consciousness is attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one is situated in the consciousness of the liberation. Text 16. When one is completely cleansed of the impurities of lust and greed, produced from the false identification of the body as I and bodily consciousness as a mind, one mind becomes purified. In that pure state, it transcends the stage of so called the material happiness and the distress. Text 17. At that time, the soul can see himself to be the transcendental to the material existence and always self-effulgent, never fragmented, although very minute in size. Text 18. In that position of the self-realization, by practice of the knowledge and the renunciation is the devotional service. One sees everything in the right perspective. He becomes indifferent to the material existence and the material influence acts less powerfully upon him. Text 19. Perfection in self realization cannot be attained by any kind of yogi unless he engages in the devotional service to the personality of Supreme Personality of Godhead, for that is the only auspicious path. Text 20th. Every learned man knows very well that attachment for the material is the greatest entanglement of the spirit soul. But that same attachment, when applied to the self realized devotees, opens the door of the liberation. Text 21. The symptoms of the sadhu are that he is tolerant, merciful, and friendly to all the living entities. He has no enemies. He is peaceful. He abides by the scriptures, and all his characteristics are sublime. Text 22. Such a sadhu engages in the staunch devotional service to the Lord without, without deviation. For the sake of the Lord, he renounces all other connections, such as family relationships and the friendly acquaintance within the world. Text 23. Engaged constantly in chanting and hearing about me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the sadhus do not suffer from the material miseries because they are always filled with the thoughts of my pastimes and activities. Text 24. O my mother, O O virtuous lady, these are the qualities of the great devotees who are free from all the attachments. You must seek attachment to such holy men, for this counteracts the penance effects of the material attachments. Text 25. In the association of the pure devotee, the discussions of the pastimes and the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleased and satisfied to the ear and the heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of the liberation, and thereafter he is freed and his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotion and the devotional service began. Text 26. Thus, consciously engaged in the devotional service in the association of the devotees, a person gains distaste for sense gratification both in this world and in the next. By constantly thinking about the activities of the Lord, this process of Krishna consciousness is the easiest process of mystic power. When one is actually situated on the path of the devotional service, he is able to control the mind. Text 27. Thus, by not engaging in the service of the modes of the material nature, but by developing the Krishna consciousness, knowledge in the renunciation, and by the practicing yoga, in which the mind is always fixed in the devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one achieves my association in his very life, in this very life. For I am the Supreme Personality, the Absolute Truth. Text 28. On hearing this statement of the Lord, Devahuti inquired, what kind of devotional service is worth developing and practicing to help me easily and immediately attain the service of your lotus feet? Text 29. The mystic yoga system, as you have explained, aims of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is meant for the completely ending material existence. Please let me know the nature of that yoga system. How many ways are there by which one can understand in truth that sublime yoga? Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mate. Hare Krishna. Harinam Kirtan, Prabhu. Yeah. When are you ready, you can start, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhu, I can hear. Nice.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. We are reading very, very beautiful section of Devhuti, his son, Kapila. So we are reading from text 14 onwards. So there is a dialogue between the mother Devhuti and his son. And Mother Devhuti is inquiring about the pure devotional service or the yoga system, but that how she can be liberated from this world. So text 14 onwards. Uh, yes, text 14 onwards. Kapila Muni started to explain about the yoga system. So he begins by telling that, oh my mother, I'm going to explain you the ancient yoga system, which is the old yoga system, which has been explained to the many yogis before by me. It is serviceable and it is practicable in every way. So text 14, Srila Prabhupada writes very, very nice statement that the absolute truth has to be one. One cannot manufacture the absolute truth, every day or another. So in today's world, the public is being severely misled and cheated in the name of so many yoga, so many gurus, so many culture, and so many blah 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 blah. So people keep coming up with their own method of own manufacturing of different types of yoga and this and that, and try to promote that this is how you can love God. This is how you can achieve nirvana. This is how you can achieve liberation. And all this method or manufacturing process is useless. And one need not to manufacture their own method. So one needs to go to the ancient method, which Lord has personally explained. So that's what Kapila Muni says to Devahuti. And same thing we can see in the Bhagavad Gita also. When Lord Krishna was explaining to Arjuna, he told that this knowledge I have explained to the Vivishwan, Lord's son before, and the same knowledge I'm going to explain it to you. Evam parampara praptam, evam rajasya vidhi. So the knowledge has to be one. Knowledge cannot change, one day, another day, this day or that day. So that is very, very crucial. So the same knowledge Kapila Muni is going to explain to Mother Devhuti. In the text 14 onwards, the very nice thing is explained about consciousness. So, how's the, because our society name is International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Consciousness has three features: feeling, willing, and thinking. So, as long as our consciousness or our chitta is attracted uh, by three modes of material nature, or these, attracted to our feeling, willing, thinking, are attracted to this material nature. So then we remain conditioned. We are in this material prison. Our chitta is submerged into all this material subject or material objects. So that is what is explained here. That we get attracted by this so many material things, and many a times we are in the modes of material nature. We get attracted by passion, ignorance, and goodness, and so many things in so many ways. So, Srila Prabhupada explains about the difference between the Krishna consciousness and Maya consciousness. So, when the same chitta, when the same consciousness of our, when it is attracted to the Lord and His devotees, that same consciousness opens the path of liberation to us. And if that same consciousness is attached to the material things, which is not related to Krishna, then we are in Maya consciousness. So, consciousness, I was recently hearing a very, very beautiful lecture by one of the Prabhuji. So, he was telling that we are very, very sensitive in our life. Our consciousness is like a, mirror, a plain mirror. And what we do in our life, what we do, even a small, small thing, which we have done already in our life, which we are doing, or which we are going to do, even a small, small thing have a very sensitive effect on our consciousness. What kind of food we eat, what kind of dress we wear, where do we go, what kind of activities we do in our life, what kind of things we see. So all those small, small things get deposited in our subtle consciousness. And that's how that frames us our next destination or our next life. It is very, very important to be always, to remind ourselves, where is my chitta involved? Where is my consciousness involved? I am in Maya or I am with Krishna. That is very, very crucial. So that is why our society is International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So consciousness has to be with Krishna, and that's how it will going to get purified. That we will talk next. Good. Text 16. Kapila Muni is explaining what holds our consciousness in this material world. So the impurities of kama and lobha. Kama, lust, and lobha is greed. And then it comes I and mind. So our body, we think this is my body, this is my property, this is my car, this is my life, my family, my wife, my children, I am this, I am that. So when we start identification, this is mine, that is mine, and then eventually we want to acquire more and more in this life to give the luxuries, to our family, friends, ourselves, all the comforts of the life, and then we want to enjoy those. So greed, and then enjoy those facility materially, not keeping Krishna in the center, because I am the enjoyer. This is for me. This is my property. So these things are for a materialistic person. These are the symptom. I and mine, and gradually these impurities acquire them completely, and that is how the mind becomes fully contaminated. And therefore, when we keep Krishna in the center, then this I and mine part will be purified. So Srila Prabhupada tells here that when one becomes free from this contamination, I and mine, and then eventually these impurities will also go, kama and lobha, then our mind and consciousness also become freed and attain their original state. So as long as we are attached to kama and lobha and I and mind thing, We are in Maya consciousness. Our consciousness is still not liberated. Once we are free from them, then only we can have the original state. So our chitta, our I and mind part has to be purified. That can only be done by Bhakti Yoga system. Srila Prabhupada right in the hand that our minds has to have some engagement. Mind cannot be vacant. There are many foolish attempts going on in this world to make mind vacant, to void, or to focus on Brahma Jyoti, or Prabhupada says that is not possible. The only process which will purify the mind of the conditioned soul, when the mind is engaged in Krishna, that is how it's going to purify. Therefore, the mind must be engaged. So, very nice thing. Text 17 onwards. So, when our mind is engaged with Krishna, that is the time we can realize our eternal state, our original state, and then soul can see himself to be transcendental. We can see that we are not this, we are not this, we are not this material body, we are in part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Our original state is to love and serve Krishna, not to be, always focusing on loving and serving this whole society, this whole family, this whole this, and our master, our boss. I've been serving so many people, not giving time to serve Krishna. So here, two words are explained the shloka. One is animanam and second is nirantaram. Animanam means infinite simil. That means soul is very, very small. The size of soul, the characteristics of souls are explained. That is 1 by 10,000, the tip of the hair. And nirantaram means it's non-different. So it is similar in terms of the quality with the Lord, not the quantity. So Achinta Bheda Bheda Tattva is explained here. Srila Prabhupada writes here and gives example of sunshine. No one can separate the molecular parts of the sublime of the sunshine from the sun. But at the same time, the molecular part of the sunshine is not as expensive as the sun is itself. Similarly, the living entity by its constitutional position is qualitatively the same as the Supreme Spirit, but is infinitesimal. So again, the same analogy is being explained in regards to sun and the sunlight. Text 18. Okay, so again, very, very important shloka here. So once we realize, once we advance in bhakti, in Krishna consciousness, we realize our original position, two things comes in our life. One is called knowledge, second is called vairagya. Jnana vairagya yuktena. So bhakti has two sons, jnana and vairagya. So when we get bhakti, these two things comes in our life. So by practice of knowledge and renunciation in devotional service, one sees everything in the right perspective. He becomes indifferent to material existence, and the material influence acts less powerfully upon him. Very, very important shloka. So when we are equipped, when we know our original state, or when we have this knowledge, and when we develop this knowledge and renunciation, we can see everything in the right perspective. Even though a person is living this material world, or hell, or anywhere in the world, or if that person is standing in a Swarga Loka with among thousands of apsaras or thousands of attracting things all around his world. But a realized soul sees everything in the right perspective. He sees everything is a property of Krishna. He sees everyone is a part and parcel of the Lord. So that the tendency of enjoyment, the tendency of enjoying this material body or this material objects will not be there. And the kama and lobha will not be there. That is the characteristic of an advanced devotee who has realized himself that he is a part and parcel of the Lord. So, Srila Prabhupada writes a very nice example that if somebody is contaminated of the germs of a particular disease, can influence a weaker person. Similarly, the influence of material nature or religion can act on the weaker or conditioned soul, but not in the liberated soul. So if somebody's immunity is low, he can be easily get contaminated by any disease. But if somebody's immunity is very strong, he cannot be so easily be affected by any disease. Therefore, if we are strong in our Krishna consciousness, strong in our bhakti, then the material attraction, the principle of attraction, the material objects and subjects, and all the things all around us, they cannot disturb us. They cannot disturb our chitta because our chitta is always involved with the Lord, in serving Him. We are strong, our consciousness is strong. Therefore, it is very, very important that we come associate with devotee, hear from them, learn from them, and learn the science of Krishna consciousness, so that our chitta gets purified. Our intelligence become very sharp by hearing and reading scripture. Our intelligence become very sharp. We can discriminate easily what is good for me, what is bad for me, how I have to progress in my Krishna consciousness. So this is the benefit of having association or hearing from devotees. Srila Prabhupada writes another few things, that without knowledge one cannot have realization. The realization that one is the infinite seven-dimensional part and parcel of Supreme Spirit makes him attached to material condition life. That is the beginning of devotional service. Oh, it's not a and, it's a beginning. And we see everything in the right perspective. Okay, next shloka, text 19. So when perfection in self-realization, so here the importance of devotional service is explained. Pure devotional service, that any type of yogis, unless and until he is engaged into the devotional service, he cannot attain the Supreme Lord. Devotional service is the only path he can attain the Lord. That's what the Srila Prabhupada focuses on the text 19. So Srila Prabhupada tells that the knowledge and renunciation, we can see many people in this world, they know Bhagavad Gita, they know scripture, they have a lot of knowledge, and many times they exhibit renunciation also. They go to forest, they leave their family. There are many people all around the world. So they have knowledge, they have renunciation, which is good, but Srila Prabhupada right, it is never a perfect unless joined by devotional service. Our bhakti movement is called pure devotional service. We have to have devotion in our heart, which is loving Krishna, serving Krishna, those feelings for Krishna, and that feelings, that love of ours has to be merged, has to be joined with the service part. Service is whatever is instructed by our spiritual master. That is the service. Without service, just having those feelings in our heart, having those, which is good, but it's not the perfect. It has to be joined with the service, service of the mission, service of the whatever the Lord is saying. So many couple of words in this verse, Srila Prabhupada explains, like the Brahma Siddhaya. Again, it's again, or Aham Brahmasmi, the Vedic word, Brahma Siddhi means that one should know that he is not a matter, he is a pure soul. Srila Prabhupada explained different types of yogi, or Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan realization. So the Bhagwan realization is the topmost realization. So once we render the devotional service is very, very powerful, that everything is revealed to us. So some people feel these bhakti people are emotional people, what they are doing. I know all the shloka, I know this, I know that, proud of their own, knowledge. Bhakti is so powerful that even a person who is illiterate, even a child can practice bhakti. So it does not require that one knows all the scripture and this and that. It's good, but bhakti is so powerful that even a woman, even a child, even an old man, any kind of people can practice bhakti. It's remembering Krishna, chanting Krishna's name, hearing about Krishna's name, and everything is revealed in our life. Often our devotees are insecure, thinking, am I doing right, this and that, what will happen, whether I'll go back to home, back to Godhead, or this and that. We should not be worried. We should be just busy, our mind in loving Krishna, serving Krishna, and how can we, absorb more and more in our life. Let Krishna take that decision. Everything is very revealed. Krishna is promising in so many words in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. He is our loving Father. Why we should be worried on any of those things? Let him take care. He is our loving Father. It's gonna come us. Srila Prabhupada gives very nice example of the cat. That cat holds her own kitten on the teeth. At the same time, cat also holds the mouse, which is like death for death for the mouth, right? Similarly, death is going to come to everyone. But we with the Lord, we are He's been treated like as a kitten. Although we are going to the same process, but our destination is different. So He's gonna take care of us. We should be fully sure about that. So it's called hope after hope. Like, there are many examples in this connection. Let me go further, otherwise, the text 20, very it's a important shloka. Prasangam ajaram pasham atmana kavya vidu sava sadhu sokrato mokshadwaram vratam. Again, it's there that we can talk about the devotional service, we can talk about knowledge, renunciation, liberation, free from all this thing. But how we're gonna get all to all that level? That is explained in this verse that we need to develop an attachment to a sadhu, to a devotee of the Lord. Attachment devoid directly established to a Lord is many times difficult because our senses, we cannot see the Lord properly. Although Lord is present in the deity form, but we cannot perceive it. Our intelligence is not so pure, our mind is contaminated. Therefore, it is very, very important that we develop attachment to the sadhus, to the devotees of the Lord, like Narad Muni developed to those Vedantas. So many examples. Similarly, all our in ISKCON, all our devotees, they develop strong feelings and affection for Srila Prabhupada. They want to serve this person. So, and eventually, Krishna reveals in their heart. So, in this world, Prabhupada writes that a particular living entity has to be attached to something or another. But the same attachment, if it's transferred to Krishna, it will open us the door of liberation. Srila Prabhupada quotes, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha Sarva Siddhi Hoy. That even a moment association of the great sadhu can give us the greatest benediction of this life. And then Srila Prabhupada also quote Mahat Seva Dwaram Ahur Vimukto. So from the teachings of Lord Rishabdev. So as soon as the teachings start, this is the second shloka. It tells you again, serving the great soul, developing attachment to the Lord will open the door for liberation. So if we, and Srila Prabhupada tells in the next line that how to associate with sadhu. When we go meet the saintly sadhu, not, they will bless us, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. So many, they'll smile upon us, ha, ha, ha. Or, it's good, it's there, that's okay, superficial. But the real association of sadhu is, to hear from him, hear the instructions. Shilpapad, right? We cannot expect a sadhu to give us instruction on how to improve our material condition, but he will give us instruction on how to cut the knot of contamination of material attraction. That is how one associates with sadhu, that he can cut. He's a sadhu. He can cut the knot of this material world whom we are attached to, and then elevate us in the devotional service. So that is how one needs to associate with sadhu, asking him the instruction. Please, help me. I'm in very bad situation. If I'm submerged into material life, please help me to, rise in devotional service. That's how sadhu become merciful in their heart. Krishna sitting in their heart. When we show this, they speak out, and something we get hooked to, something we get attracted to, something we get inspired to practice in our own life. So we should have many times my teachers also say, Radheshyam Prabhu also says, that we should have an attraction to a devotee, let's say spiritual master, or ideal devotee whom we consider in our life, or ideal sadhu. There are so many pure devotees in ISKCON, and in our history, so many great acharyas are there. We should have an ideal person, not just one, maybe a couple of them. But we should have an ideal person or the dream person. Oh, I want to develop those qualities like him. So that is ideal, but we should also aspire or take inspiration from our fellow devotees who are practicing along with us, like Sundaranand Prabhuji. He's so consistent. I always feel so much inspiration from him. Like Vamshivardhan Prabhuji, so dedicated, like Sundarachal Prabhuji, Nil Madhav Prabhuji. So these three, we all have got the association of so many nice, sincere devotee in our life. That is the greatest benediction of our life. Greatest benediction, I'm telling you. It's the greatest benediction, the greatest asset one can get in their life. By having this association of these devotees who are giving their time, dedicating their everything, loving Krishna, serving Krishna, we can definitely please the Lord, please our authorities, please our spiritual master. And this is the thing, our mind, our consciousness will get purified, and then we can see everything in the right perspective. So text 22. Very, very important shloka. These two shloka we can remember. Text 20 and 21. Titikshava karunikaha suhridav sarvadehinam. So the qualities of great devotees are explained. The sadhu is explained. The sadhu is a tolerant. The sadhu is merciful to everyone. Is friendly to all living entity because he sees everything in connection with Krishna. That's why he's friendly. That doesn't have he is my friend, he is my enemy. He sees everyone is a part and parcel of the Lord. There's no enemy. Ajat Shatru. He is very peaceful and he abides by the scripture and his characteristics are sometimes. So, very nice thing to read, but I'll be very short here. Srila Prabhupada emphasized in this purport about the preaching mission. That a devotee is traveling all over the country, from door to door to door, and preaching. Please chant Krishna's name. Please read this book. Be Krishna consciousness. Become a devotee of Lord Krishna. Don't spoil your life. Human life is meant for self-realization. Please remember Krishna. These are the preachings of a sadhu. The sadhu is doing that. He is sadhu. And Srila Prabhupada, right? A sadhu is not satisfied by his own liberation. He's not satisfied. That's why Srila Prabhupada at the age of 70 he left Vrindavan and came to America. That compassion is there. That compassion of Srila Prabhupada, compassion of the great acharyas, compassion of Vasudeva Datta. He's ready to take the sin of all the material person, He told to the Lord, let me take their all the sin and everything. Please give them bhakti. That is the compassion. So this is our mood in his core. This is our mood of the acharyas. Giving Krishna to others. That's how they can purify their mind and chinta and ultimately love their Supreme Lord. So we should come out of our material comfort in our life. We should be ready to help devotees to preach, to distribute books, to help in any preaching mission in our temple. That is how we please the Lord. That is how we please the sadhus. And they are pleased, then the material knot can be cut very easily. Very easily. Srila Prabhupada, right? That when we preach this message, we face so many material elements, so many challenges, so many difficulty we face. But a devotee of the Lord is very tolerant. Is very tolerant. And a sadhu, and now the very interesting part is Srila Prabhupada writes many examples of the great devotee that how they were attacked with violence, like Jesus Christ, he was crucified, like Haridas Thakur, he was beaten in 22 marketplaces. Nityananda Prabhu, he was hit by die. So when we preach, these obstacles comes in the life of great devotees. Srila Prabhupada also, he was preaching, he was attacked in New York. His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. Oh my goodness. Just meditate, just by thinking. Let's just 10 minutes, just think that only. All these great devotees, great Acharya has been sacrificed their own life, their own, everything they have sacrificed just to preach the mission of the Lord. How much Lord will be loving them? Oh my goodness. How much Lord is loving them. And a devotee of the Lord is compassionate to even a cats, dogs, and trees, the living entities. He treats all living entity in a way that they can achieve Krishna, they can achieve the liberation from this material entanglement. The Srila Prabhupada quotes example of Shivananda saying how he, liberated a dog. This pastime comes in Chaitanya, Mahaprabhu's pastime. So text 22. Oh, we are 7:35, so let me be very, very quick now. So Srila Prabhupada tells that say sadhu, he is engaged in a staunch devotional service to the Lord without deviation. And for the sake of the Lord, he renounces all other connection, family relationship, and all the friendly acquaintances. So a sadhu renounces all this family connection, because it binds. It binds. Unless it is in a right perspective, it binds. Unless and until Krishna is in the center, Krishna is in center of our life, all the things around us is gonna bind us and hold us in this material world. Every knot. So those knots can be cut and opened only by the great sadhus. Srila Prabhupada writes very nice line here, and I loved that while I was reading yesterday. Srila Prabhupada writes, who is a sannyasi? So generally we feel a sannyasi, he has taken sannyas, he's not doing anything, he's busy in bhakti or devotional life. But Srila Prabhupada writes, a sannyasi is generally in a renounced order of life, but his renunciation will be successful only when his energy is employed in the service of the Lord with great austerity. This is the real sannyasi. So when his renunciation will be successful, when all of his energy is used in service of the Lord. That is sannyasi. In text 23, the process of bhakti is explained. So how our mind can be purified? By chanting and by hearing. So we chant, we hear, and eventually we will be free from this material miseries, because our minds are always accustomed or absorbed in hearing and remembering about the pastime of the Lord. There is a nice example of Tukaram Maharaj. So many things, material, his wife, so many things, but he was always absorbed in chanting, in remembering the Lord of Prahlad Maharaj, So many calamities, so many difficulties, but he's always absorbed. Kunti Maharani, always remembering the Lord. So this is the process. This is our ancient process. This is the product we have. And this product has to be given to everyone, each and everyone. Chant Krishna's name, hears Krishna's name. This is the thing which can free from you everything. So text 24. Then Kapila Muni adds, "O my mother or lady, I have explained you the qualities of great devotees, and those who are free from all type of attachment. So please, you should have an attachment to a holy man." So as I was telling, right, we should have an attachment to devotees or few ideals. We cannot have with everyone, but few ideals. We should know their life. We should know how they do things. Should learn from them. Should have that eagerness to love them, serve them also, and observe them. This is how we get inspired in our life to practice Krishna consciousness nicely. Srila Prabhupada quotes, Nirmana Moha Jita Sangha Dosha. Very nice again. Time. Let's go. Text 25. So in the association of the great devotees, when we discuss the pastime of the Lord and hear about the Lord, it's very, very pleasing to the Supreme Lord and satisfying to our ear and the heart. So this is what we do in the association of devotee. Here discuss about the pastime, not doing any other things. So when we cultivate such knowledge, when we practice this particular process, the way it is explained, we become advanced in our spiritual life gradually and open the door for liberation. And we are freed from all type of contamination. And our attraction becomes fixed to Supreme Lord. And then that is our real devotion and devotional service comes. So Srila Prabhupada writes very beautiful line, very excellent line. We can meditate upon this. Srila Prabhupada writes, association with devotees means association with the Lord. Very crucial. For so many people are, they come to temple, see the Lord and go away. But what is the real association? Association with devotees means association with the Lord. Devotees will tell them how to remember Krishna, how to serve Krishna. That's how he will develop association with the Lord. He can see Lord face to face eventually. A person gain distaste, text 27. So when our mind and our senses attached to loving and serving Krishna, then we will not be having taste to the material subject and object of this world. Our senses will naturally be attracted to loving and serving Krishna and constantly thinking about it. That's a characteristics. So, Srila Prabhupada explains the word called Rijubhi. So then things become very easy, very, very easy. And there are, okay, no time. Text 27. Yes, so again, Lord is Kapila Muni explaining that when we practice knowledge and renunciation, we're practicing yoga, our mind fixing devotion service, uh, one can achieve me, in this very life. So Lord is telling that one can achieve me in this very life by practicing this particular process. So till text 27, Kapila Muni explains the process of devotion service. And then Mother Devhuti asks that what kind of devotion services were developing, and what can we practice easily, then how we can attain the service of the lotus feet. So Mother Devhuti was asking this question again to Kapila Muni because she feels that I'm a woman, I'm inferior, how I can satisfy the Lord. So Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that if one engages himself in the devout service of the Lord, he is promoted to the highest perfectional state and goes back to Godhead. So the devotional service most suitable for different type of devotees is determined and fixed by the mercy of spiritual master. So when we talk about the loving devotional service, the service component when we serve Krishna, that has to be to different devotees, has to be assigned by our spiritual master and his representative. So we should ask Nirmadhav Prabhuji, we should ask the temple authorities, Sundaranand Prabhuji, how can we serve? Or if you have spiritual master, if you have connection, if you can approach, you can ask them also. That's fine. These people, we should go and ask them, how can I serve in this mission? How we can help them? How can I serve the Lord? How can I advance in my bhakti? So we should be, this is how the devotional service starts, and we can engage. So the devotee, particularly depending upon our capacity, depending upon our capability, what we can do in practicing devotion. So they will assign, okay, maybe you can do this, you can do this, you can help here, you can help there, and all services are equal. There is no thing, giving a lecture or doing a deity worship or cleaning a floor. So same, Lord sees in the same angle. And Lord sees in our heart what is our spirit, what is our internal heart, what we are looking for. I want to serve Krishna, or my heart is just to impress others. I can speak nicely, I can worship nicely, I can do this, I can do that, I can sing nicely. So these are all external things, but the real thing should be to serve Lord with feelings, with devotion. Uh, that's very, very important. So last verse for today, that again Mother Devhuti is asking question to the Supreme Lord about the yoga system. Please let me know the nature of yoga system and how many ways are there which we can understand this yoga. So it will be explained tomorrow or Monday by devotees. So Hare Krishna, please bless me. I am also have so many contamination in my life. I'm not perfect either. So I sincerely beg at all of your lotus feet. Please pray for me. Please bless me. Keep me in your association. I can practice bhakti and I can serve you in some way. Hare Krishna. Your Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Srimad ki jai. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for a wonderful class. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.